Hi there, this is Laszlo, and today I will be talking about how I passed the AWS Solution Architect Professional certification in 2023. I will give you some pointers, tips and tricks on how to prepare and how to attempt to pass this certification. If you're new to the channel, my name is Laszlo. I'm a cloud architect working on solutions for the AWS cloud. Besides my job, I also run this channel where I do videos on AWS related topics, demos, tutorials, and much more. So if you were into any of these topics, then subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any of the upcoming videos. So today I will talk about the following topics. So what is the Solution Architect Professional certification? Why certify? What is the exam structure, cost, and where you can take the exam? Also, what was my experience taking this certification? Some resources that I recommend you for preparation, and what time you need to allocate to prepare yourself for this certification. Also some exam strategies that you can try to maximize your chances to pass this certification. So first of all, what is the Solution Architect Pro? This is a professional level certification. It's one of the hardest exams in IT. It's offered by Amazon Web Services, AWS, and it's intended for individuals who have a strong understanding of AWS services and have the ability to design and deploy scalable, highly available, and fault-tolerant systems on the AWS platform. So why would you want to certify yourself? First of all, in some companies this is required because maybe they have some requirements for their collaboration with AWS. They need to have a certain number of individuals that they have certified, and these companies look for certified individuals, and this could be a bonus point if you want to apply for a job at these companies. But this is only one reason. The other reason could be that maybe you want to work as a consultant on AWS IQ, offering your services to companies, and in this case Solution Architect Professional certification, it's a big bonus point. The more certifications you have in this case, the better for you. Also, it can lead to pay rise, increased pay in some companies if you pass the certification. But in the end, for me, the most important point is that it challenges you to learn more, to be better at what you do in your job. And that is why I attempted this exam. I wanted to prove myself that I can do it. I actually enjoyed going through some of the services that I use rarely from AWS, because AWS is so vast that there's lots of services. No person can work with all of them. But preparing for the exam allows you this time to discover services that you might have not used that much. Okay, so that is why you certify. Now, regarding the exam structure and cost, it costs $300, but you can obtain a discount if you have a previous certification. So I only paid $150 because I had the Solution Architect Associate, and when you pass that exam, you're going to receive a voucher, and that allows you a 50% discount for the exam. The time required for the exam is 180 minutes. If you are not a native speaker of the language you're taking it in, for example, if you're taking the exam in English and you're not a native English speaker, then you can request a 30-minute extra time. but you have to request this beforehand. So when you before you register for the exam, and you do this from your certification account. And in this case, you have 210 minutes. There are 75 questions in the exam, either multiple choice or multiple response questions. You can have one or more valid answers. You can take the exam in a Pearson VUE testing center or in your own home or office in this online proctored mode, in which you have a proctor which supervises you via webcam all the time. In this case, you don't need to have any other things, like you are not allowed to have a smartwatch or any watch, another monitor, headphones, things like this are forbidden. The proctor will check this. He will say you should move the webcam around in order for him or her to see what's on the desk and so on. I took the exam in this way, so from my own home. The check-in process is pretty straightforward. The proctor will check a few things, as I said, and then the exam is released to you and you can go through it. So each question is pretty long, and you have multiple long answers which you can choose from. So you have to read it carefully, and this is a pretty time-consuming process. So you have to go through the questions and do not stay too much on a question. I will come back to this at the exam strategy when I will talk about the exam strategy. Now, in regards to resources for preparation, what resources I used, a few video courses and practice exams. The video courses, one from Stefan Marek on Udemy. I'm going to link it below this video. Also one from Adrian Cantrill. That is also a very good preparation guide and course. I didn't went through these courses end to end because I knew most of the services. I only watched the topics that I felt that I don't have so much experience with, so I had to brush up my knowledge on those. Then I went through the Tutorials Dojo practice exams, and it's a very good idea to go through these practice exams from Tutorials Dojo, because this will allow you to see what the exam structure is. You can see how you handle the pressure, how you are able to fit in the allocated time. So take these practice exams, because also some of the questions resemble very much the actual questions from the certification exam. That is a very good tip. So pay attention to the questions from the practice exams, and this will help you a lot. Then the time needed for preparation, I actually allocated 4 months, but after 3.5 months I've attempted the exam and passed it. Now, I allocated 5 hours each week, and I did these 5 hours when I had time. So I didn't set a goal like I should do 5 hours on Saturday. I said, okay, 5 hours a week, and whenever I have time, I have to study for the exam to have the 5 hours each week. And this way I managed to go through all the topics that I wanted to and pass the exam. Of course, this might be different for you because you might have different level of experience. If you have more experience with many of the services, it might take less for you. But if you are pretty new to AWS, it might take even more than 3 months. And I recommend you to first try the Solution Architect Associate if you don't have too much experience with AWS and you don't have that certification, because that will be easier for you to take, and the professional exam is a much more in-depth exam. it contains lots of questions regarding networking, cost optimization and things like that. Now, from what I've seen, the questions, as I was saying, lots of questions around networking. You have to know VPCs, how to interconnect networks, VPNs, transit gateways, things like that. Also, cost optimization, lots of questions about Cost Explorer, so pay attention to that one as well. It might not be obvious at first, but this is a very important part of being a good solution architect, to optimize for cost. Also, I was surprised by the number of questions on, for example, IoT. I was expecting a question maybe on IoT, but there were 4 or 5 questions on IoT. So IoT is Internet of Things. And I was not expecting that. Fortunately, I knew the answer to those, but if you're not working with these services, these more let's say not so used services, then you should prepare from those as well. Also, I was surprised that there were not too many questions regarding serverless, things like Lambda, API gateway, Cognito, step functions. So these are some of my favorite topics, and I was expecting more questions regarding these topics, but actually there were, for my taste, very few questions regarding this. Now, if we talk about exam strategy, my strategy is that I'm going to read the question first, then read the answers, and after I read the answers, I'm going to go and read the question again, because from the answers I can think about things to look for in the question. And then you can eliminate obviously wrong answers. That should be your first step. Then again reread the question criteria, because sometimes in the question it says what is the most cost-effective way to do a certain thing, and then you have to choose your answer taking into account this. So what is the most cost-effective thing to do, or what is which requires the least amount of effort to implement. So again you have to choose the answer taking into account this criteria. So pay attention to those these things. So after going through these things, you should have the answers and mark the answer. If there are more than one correct answer, it will say so, choose 2 or choose 3. And that's pretty much it. Now some people use this flagging technique, that if you don't know for sure the answer to a question, then you flag the question and come back at the end after you went through all the questions. However, I'm not sure about that, because this is a pretty hard exam and you are going to spend a lot of time reading the questions, and you might get into the situation where at the end you don't have enough time to go through the flagged questions. However, you still can use this strategy if that's more suitable to your way of doing the exam. I didn't flag any question. I answered all of them, even if I was not 100% sure about the question. And then this way I was able to fit into the allocated time. So that's pretty much it on what I wanted to say in this video. Hopefully some of these things will help you pass the exam and prepare for the exam. Yeah, that's about it. I hope it helped you a little bit even. And if you did like the video, then please click on the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you soon with another video here on my channel. Have a great day.